Today we are tackling a classic security challenge, protecting against brute force password attacks without locking out your legitimate users. For decades, account lockout policies have been a blunt instrument. After a certain number of failed login attempts, lock the account for certain time. Simple, right? But it causes two major problems. First, an attackers can deliberately lock out legitimate users by entering wrong passwords. Think your CEO cannot sign in before the board meeting because an attacker targeted their account and ultimately it's lockout. Second, someone typed their password wrong 3 times. Maybe they changed it recently and forgot. Maybe they are on mobile and hit wrong keys. Now they are locked out and calling the help desk. So frustration all around. So Microsoft Entra Smart Lockout uses machine learning and global threat intelligence to differentiate legitimate users from attackers. It's not just counting failed attempts, it's analyzing patterns. And here's what Smart Lockout considers, like familiar locations. Has this user successfully signed in from this IP address before? If yes, be more lenient. If it's a completely new location, be more strict. Sign in patterns. Does this user typically sign in at 9 a.m. from Sydney? Then a sign in attempts at 3 a.m. from data center IP from a different country suspicious. Device characteristics, browsing, think fingerprinting, operating system, device type, is that device is familiar, then less suspicious. Then it's coming the one wrong password attempt very few minutes look like a forgetful user. Hundreds of attempts per second, definitely it's a attack. And global threat, think that Microsoft sees billions of sign-in across all their services. So if an IP address is attacking multiple organizations, Smart Lockout knows and reacts more aggressively than. How Smart Lockout works? Let's walk through the decision logic. Think a scenario. A legitimate user forget password. User tries from their user laptop, user location. First wrong password, no lockout. Maybe second is same, but after certain time it will be wrong password and system recognize that device location is fine, but password entry is wrong. So in that case, apply shorter lockout or provide extra password reset option. Now think second scenario where actually attacker is a brute forcing. So 100 of attempts from an unfamiliar IP. We can see that no previous successful logins from that location. Then Microsoft Threat Intelligence flagged that IP address and ultimately it lockout triggered sent after certain attempts and lockout duration this time it's actually increased exponentially. So Smart Lockout can lock out attackers while allowing legitimate users to keep trying from a trusted location with different options. You have control over several parameters like lockout threshold, how many failed attempts before lockout. Default is 10, but you can make it more or less aggressive. Lockout duration, how long account is still locked. Default is 60 seconds, minimum is 30 seconds. You can set up based on your requirements. And account lockout mode, this is just there are two modes, audit mode and enforce mode. So Smart Lockout logs, which it would have done, but does not actually lock accounts. It just collect the information like this account have been locked for certain time without impacting users. Enforce mode, its lockout actively protects accounts. So always start with audit mode for at least for some time. Analyze the logs, make sure that it's coming legitimate users or like someone actually not the illegitimate users. When you done and confident, then you can switch to enforced mode. So we'll go through lab now. You will navigate to the password protection setting in Entra ID, configure locker duration and threshold, enable enforced mode. Then you will deliberately trigger lockout by entering wrong password and see the protection in action. Let's set up Smart Lockout. We'll go through manage Microsoft Entra Smart Lockout values. So what we need to configure the additional password protection settings for your organizations. So let's connect to Microsoft Entra. Here I have connected to Microsoft Entra here. So what we need to do, let's go to identity section. So for that, here you see this side on your left side. If you go to down below here, authentication method, select that one. Now from here you see there are different policies in place. For this lab we need to set up, click on password protection, and underneath there is that lockout threshold and how many failed sign-ins are allowed on an account before its first lockout. So we can define how many times we allow someone to lock out. Maybe we can add 5 times, normally 3 times here. So then it's coming lockout duration in seconds. So like minimum length in seconds for each lockout. So we can set that maybe like 2 minutes or 1 minute, so 60 seconds. So these are the values that we can set that up. And then you see that there is an option like uh, custom band password enforce custom list. So when enabled, these words is the list below are used in the band password system to prevent easy to guess password. So there are different options available. Now it's coming the mode, so you can enforce that one. When you are done, click on save. And that is very much for this lab. So we are done with this lab. If you have any comments, please put in comment section. See you in next lab.